going on, people? It is Saturday night and next podcast is live. Guys, I could not wait to bring this show for you guys in the chat. Anybody who checks this show out afterwards, I could not wait to do this episode. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, and we have an awesome panel ready to talk about the gaming news and give their opinions. So I'm gonna have to go in and do the intros, and I'm gonna start with the man whose idol is Rodney Dangerfield, because he's just trying to get some of that gameplay respect. Predator!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. I know we got a lot of topics to go through today, man. I'm trying to get this victory today. I got some hot footage, so vote for Pred.
Nice, brother, nice. And we gotta welcome back one of our panel members, a family member. He was out in LA, cruising through LA, you know, Eddie Murphy style. I am talking Dark Optimus!
He's back, and he's ready to give you the squeak.
The squeak?
Oh.
Yo, everybody in the chat, it's time to get squeaky with the
Trying to get
Otter.
squeaky. Oh, shit. No, it's good to be back, man. You know,
Oh man, that's terrible, Fred. Stop it. Stop it right now.
That's all I got, man.
I was
Come
out in
on.
LA last week, man. It's good to be back. It's good to be back with my next brother. So, yeah.
Nice.
Man, I just picture an otter with leather and with a lot of zippers.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Wow.
Did he just call us? Did he just call us brothers? You didn't get kicked off of Salty's podcast, did you?
No,
Okay,
no, I
I'm
didn't.
saying, 'cause
No,
we're brothers
I mean
now.
they're my brothers too. No, it's
Oh,
it's good to be back
okay.
with.
Okay. You know, you be getting iffy
Yo,
about
Mega,
shit.
Mega, he's talking
What
about
are you
brothers.
talking about?
Mega, he's talking about brothers. Do you,
You
remember
guys
what
are
he
my
said?
brothers.
Do you remember what he said off air about family? Were you
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
I was right
fam.
there. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying.
there? I was
That's
like,
fam.
fuck family, yeah.
yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
fuck the fam, dude.
Wow.
And so now you know what he thinks about family and stuff
Exactly.
like that. You
And
know
we're
what I'm saying?
brothers. We're the
That's-
closest
that's
family that you
mostly-
can get next to mom and
But that's
daddy.
the thing. But that's the thing. It's mostly Mega that I just say fuck you too. So.
Oh,
See, I can
okay.
see that.
Thank
I can
you.
see that. See,
Thank you.
that's
Appreciate
okay.
it.
I will let that roll. But
Yes, that's why you wear mulatto straps. I don't care.
Oh, damn.
Yo. All right, guys.
That's
Well,
fun.
let's go next on the list, because yes, it is time for the chat. Everybody in the chat, it is time to stand up, show that respect, kiss that ring. The Don.
Nice. I don't know why you restarted my gameplay right when he introed me, but I'll take that as well, and let's do the podcast,
Oh, because
guys.
I didn't have it on loop, and I didn't want to at the end of the gameplay, I didn't want to have to manually do it again. And I was like, man, we're here now. Might as well just start it over.
So you're saying my gameplay is on loop now, is what you're saying?
I'm saying all of our gameplay is on loop. I try to
Oh,
do
okay.
the most I can do to do the least amount of work as I'm hitting these switches and pulling these levers back here. You know what I'm saying?
It switches.
Just so you know, the switches and the levers don't need anything, just the buttons.
I did make the switches in leather. See? It's
Leather?
that otter comment got me, man.
Get that Corinthian leather, huh? All right, let's keep it moving, guys, because we're
This
just gonna
podcast
get
has
stuck on
already
this
gone
loop.
left, and we need to keep it going right.
Let's go. We are gonna introduce the newest fan to a game called Mud Runners. Yes, K Mega.
Yes, and when I told Don that, he admitted to me that he has nipple rings out of eagle talons. So therefore, I know he's happy about that. Thank you, Don.
The fact that you picture me that way just kind of creeps me out. I'm not
I
gonna
know,
lie.
it just came on the top of my head because I'm over here looking for my otter.
Yeah, all you think is about is nipple rings and eagle talons.
Yes. So we were talking about animals and straps and everything. I'm just
But
like,
it's all,
this is wild.
let's be honest now. It's all about that yak's milk, man.
Yes, yak's milk. You know what? I haven't brought that back up in a long time. Yeah,
It's about that time,
get
sir.
that Cambodian yak. Anyway, so yeah, man, glad to be back as always. You know what I'm saying, with my true brothers in arms and sister. What's going on, Snaps? Hope you can come back on the show eventually one day.
Yeah, there's no control. Ever since she has been working on Saturdays, we go off the rails like 3 seconds into the show, man. Yeah? No? Maybe?
Yeah, we're not going to answer that.
No,
'cause,
we're
you
in
know.
control now. Don't worry about it. We got
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
we got that.
I'm not used to that, man.
But
Just so
today,
you know, John's got this.
I wanted to give Dark and Pred some opportunities to win tonight. So because I didn't bring my gameplay this week because I want to go head to head with the Don, and I have secret weapons. So next week, get ready.
In though, man.
Which gameplay?
I pick older gameplay and threw it in there, man.
Oh, well, vote for K-Mega. Shit, that old gameplay is just as good as new. Let's go.
Oh, man, Mega's ducking me, really.
Well, here's the deal. I'm going to let everybody out there know I am, completely transparent for people, right? When it comes to Dark Optimus, I had to pick older gameplay from him because for some rhyme or reason, the way I get his gameplay, they weren't allowing me into his clips on Xbox. So I was kind of upset about that. Dark, this has been like a 2-week thing. I looked around at other people's gameplay and I was able to look at and even download other people's. I just couldn't download yours. And then Mega,
unacceptable.
Well, Mega was just like, man, I got distracted. He was like, just forget about it till next week. See, all the Mega fans out there who want his gameplay, he was just like, man, I'll just do it next week. That's how much he cares, people.
Oh my God,
that's how much he cares.
Listen, I was over here talking to the old lady. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes those things have to come first.
The old lady under the bus, man.
You know what? No, I was talking to the old lady. We were sitting there talking, drinking coffee, and
he basically already did. He didn't even buy her a Switch yet.
No, that's coming. That's coming.
Here's how I know this is a lie.
Because they're coming for like a year, man.
But no, this time it's coming for real. I have no choich, or I might be put out.
See, here's the thing: is I know that's a lie, Mega, because every time you call out her name or talk to her when we're in a party chat, she just goes, "Shh, shh, don't ruin it." So I know you don't talk to her.
Stop it! Stop it! Don't be messy. Don't be messy like that. I'm glad she don't listen to the show. Well, guys, you have me in trouble.
I do have somebody else to introduce again. He was a special guest last week when the Angry Otter could not join the show. He came in and I even got DMs on like what a good job he did. They do in the DMs. They say he does sound pretty similar to somebody else within the gaming community. But I am proud to bring back my boy Noximus.
Yo, what's really good, everybody? Yo, I see I'm not the only one sipping on that Glenlivet today, huh? The panel's fired up, man. I can't wait to get into these topics, man. So let's get it cracking, brother.
Let's go. And guys, as usual, I am going to throw a curveball here. It's a topic that I did not put into the DM. Come to find out, today is the birthday of Halo 3 ODST. Guys, I found out about this on Twitter. It's not like I have like all the games release dates like printed and hanging up on the wall next to my computer or anything. But I just want to ask you guys, like, I'm going to start with K-Mega. Halo 3 ODST. It's its birthday today, man. Just share some of your thoughts and opinions on the game. Did you like the game? Did you get it day one? How do you think that game is going to go down in kind of like Halo history? Because it was different. It was different than like Halo 1, 2, and 3, man. So what do you think, dude?
Yeah, I definitely like ODST. It's not one of my favorites, but it's one of those things where it's different because it's got a different learning curve, because he's not a true Spartan, and so then you get introduced to Buck and just the different scenarios that goes on within the game. I enjoyed it. I don't, what I'm saying, it's great. I mean, it's truly what Destiny should have been, but it's not. And so, I had to take
you had to put that sharp little barb in there. I had
to do that.
You know that Destiny's in ODST?
I know, that's what I'm saying. So basically, the real thing that you would want is if there was ever a ODST 2, then it would be a situation where it could be looking like, it could be a third person shooter, like how like Destiny is now. But I mean, of course, it's not Bungie; it's 343 that's doing it. So
hold on, Destiny is not third person, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you are. You from the? I'm not. Yeah, I keep thinking when you do those moves, when you do those moves and stuff, you're in third person. So
put that shot down, sir. Put that shot down, man.
I know. I haven't even got started yet, and I'm already messing up. But regardless, anyway,
let it be another GRG, man. Come on now.
Hey, man. Listen. But anyway, no. It's cool. That's good information to pick up because I didn't know it either. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome. It's on the Master Chief Collection. I can't wait to get back into that because I haven't beat it on the Master Chief.
They need to put Reach on that, man. I know Master Chief was not in that game, but if they have every other game, you know what I'm saying? Besides like the Halo Wars and stuff like that, but they have pretty much every other game with ODST having Halo 1, 2, and 3. They really need to just throw Reach in there and get it done with, man, in my opinion. But
I do too, and then put the enhancements in and just let it rip. I think that's just it would be a lot more easier to work on that ecosystem now since they got it fixed than to have the rest of those individual games, you know, and to keep those servers just up when you could just have everybody just go straight there and it'll feel better because it will run faster, it'll perform better, all of that. So I mean, yeah, ODST is dope. I mean, it's a Halo game. Halo is one of the kings. It's one of the Rushmores of gaming. You know what I'm saying? It's up there. So yeah, no, it's great, awesome.
Nice, man. I love the fact that you brought up Buck, because now within the Halo community, Buck, ever since that game, has been a big name to the point where, you know, when they were putting the groups together for Halo 5, Buck, you know, joined Team Osiris, and that was a huge thing before that game dropped. A lot of people were really excited about that as well.
Hashtag save Locke, baby.
Who's Locke again? I don't even
stop
remember.
it.
But anyway.
Don't be messy.
Luke Cage, baby, Luke Cage.
Yes. Both of them got television shows, man.
Yeah,
I love Luke Cage, man.
He's not Locke though.
Yeah, but it's refreshing to see that both you know, the actor that plays Luke Cage and the actor that plays that plays Buck, they both, you know, are having their own television shows and they're being successful with what they're doing. So more kudos to them. I hope that they can reunite again. It might not happen, but yeah, it would be fantastic that 343 don't pass those guys up, because I love Team Osiris.
Nice. Well, Knox, man, what do you think about this? I don't really know kind of like your history when it comes to Halo. I don't know if you were an ODST fan, but it is its birthday today. So what did you think about the game, and where do you think it's going to stand kind of like in the Halo lore? Because like I said, it was a different game. You weren't a Spartan. You were, you know, basically just a trooper dropped into the middle of a war. Like, what do you think, man?
You know, I never played ODST.
Whoa.
Not at all. The last Halo game I beat was Guardians, was 5 Guardians. But before that, the last Halo game I beat was Halo 2. And I now I do own Reach and I do own 3. Reach I played and I enjoyed for a day, and then I just put it down and never picked it back up. So that's my own fault. It's kind of a me problem, but no. I mean, the last one I played was Guardians, bro. That I actually ended to completion was Halo 5. I never even touched ODST, and I certainly never touched any of the strategy ones.
That is interesting. Now, what do you think is different from, like you said, Halo Reach? You played for about a day. I got to ask you if you beat the game, and then like what got you to beat Halo 5, but only be kind of like entertained by Reach for like one day?
Reach was cool, but I really what stopped me or prolonged me from continuing with Reach was that I wanted to end that with my buddies, because you know that's the one that didn't have Master Chief at all, right? It was like, you know, a prequel.
Yeah.
Right.
It was the fall, basically the fall of Reach. That was the story behind it.
Right. So I wanted to beat that with the guys, and we just couldn't get on.
Gave up, man. That was it.
Yeah, and I kind of just put it off to the side. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get to it, and it went to the wayside, man. But I will go back to that one. I still have it, so I could one day play it again. But yeah. And the reason I played Guardians is because, you know, I'm big on Destiny. I was really hyped by Destiny, and when Guardians came out, I'm like, yo, you know what? Let me jump in there, and I enjoyed it, bro. I really liked the gameplay. I thought it was great. I mean, the story sucked ass, but I mean,
a lot of people say that, man. I look at the story as kind of like a precursor of the shit that's about to hit the fan, and but the multiplayer, that's where Halo 5 really shines, in my opinion. To me, to this day, it still has the best multiplayer this generation, man. So
I didn't really get into the multiplayer with Halo 5. My thing was I just found the whole interaction with Chief and Locke so anticlimactic from what I was expecting that's what kind of disappointed me with the story. But it was all right. I enjoyed the game. The gameplay was great. I thought the game was good. I say, you know, it's a solid 8. I enjoyed that game.
Nice. Predator, what do you think, man? What is your history with Halo 3 ODST, and you know, with it being its birthday, where do you think it's gonna end up in kind of like that? You know, like when presidents, they can't get reelected or anything, they make a library to them. It's got all the information. Where do you think you know, ODST is gonna be in that library, man?
You know, I enjoyed ODST, but I only did one playthrough for it, and that's typically me with any game. I don't really go back and play multiple.
I did about
3. I remember the ending, like you're sitting up there, you're shooting at everybody takes off on the fucking plane and shit, and you're left there by yourself. And I always thought, like, man, maybe if I could have survived a little longer, something else would have happened. But
dude, I tried to survive. Like, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I thought there was more because they kept coming, right? Enemies, they kept letting you shoot them. So, dude, I was there for like 45 minutes, like trying to take out dudes, yeah.
And so, and that's what I did. And I was like, man, I love the game because it was different from the regular Halos. But I don't know if we'll ever see like an ODST 2 or anything like that again. It's one of those games, like, you know, like it's going to be like in a Half-Life. You know, we're going to be waiting for it, and it's never going to come. But I enjoyed it, and, you know, happy birthday to it. We need it in. And we need all of them, you know, in one Master Chief collection. We need those other ones we're missing too. But I've even played the fucking twin stick shooter Halos, Spartan Strike, and
Spartan. Yeah, oh my God, they're bad.
So I played them all,
but they're fun. But I mean, but they're Halos, so they're
they're part of the lure. Like I don't get into the books and all the other stuff about Halo, but I do play all the games. So I did like that one. That was one of my more favorite ones, just because I like the story a little bit better with the group of people they had there, including Buck. So,
all right, I got you, man. And one thing I can say about Halo 3 ODST, that was the first time, because, you know, Halo games revolved around Master Chief. I think that was the first time a lot of people realized how big this universe really was, because it was a game that didn't have Master Chief. You weren't a Spartan, and yet it was pretty freaking popular out there in the gaming community, and I think it showed that you can make games in the Halo universe and not necessarily have Master Chief as like your focal point, and it can do well. I think that is kind of like, to me, that will probably be the foundation that, you know, when people look back at that game, that's what they think. But I want to hear Goldblum, man. Mr. Dark Optimus, what do you think? Halo ODST, it's its birthday. What was kind of like your history with it, and where do you think it's going to be in that Halo presidential library, man?
I have no history with it because I didn't play the game.
Well, I actually had two people on a panel that didn't play that. This is really interesting, man.
Yeah, I wasn't big into Halo at the time. I got bigger into Halo when, you know, when the mainline series was out, and then like I was like, okay, I wasn't gonna play like somebody who wasn't Master Chief until I feel like in the history of Halo, I think this will probably be, you know, it'll be where it is now. You know, people know it, people like it. It just, I don't think it'll be
the Susan Lucci of the Halo franchise. It's an honor just being nominated.
Well, I think it'll be like above, you know, because I know Reach and Halo 5 have gotten a lot of flack, so I think it'll be above those. I don't think it'll ever hit the status of Halo 3 or anything like that.
All right.
Oh, I doubt that. I since it's going to PC, I think Halo's going to get back to the. I mean, and look, Halo 5 sold over 10 million. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it had it's just the marketing of it.
But it's not dampened by Halo 5, and you know, I seen the same thing with ODST. A lot of people who I knew back in the day who played it were like, yeah, I don't even like this game as much as I do the mainline Halo series. So I think, you know, it'll be in that mid-tier range. in the history of Halo.
I got you. Now, Don, a lot of people already know this. I know we've said this, at least a couple times on the show, that we basically came together with Halo 5. That's where me and you had our conversations, got to know each other playing that game. But I got to ask you about your history with ODST, and where do you think that title is going to stand, being that today is its birthday, man?
I look at ODST as like the Last Jedi or the Empire Strikes Back of the Halo series. It's just something slightly different. It threw everyone off when it came out.
It did, definitely.
But my experience of it was kind of like shock. I'm like, but I played it and then I enjoyed it, but going back, I enjoy it more. Does that make sense? Like you get more and you appreciate more of it. Regardless,
it was a shock when it came out because people were like, "Well, Halo, where is Master Chief and everything like that?" It's like,
absolutely, kind of like what everyone's talking about on Halo 5.
A little bit.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, they say Locke has no personality, but the main character you play on this is pretty much like Locke.
The first 3 Halos, Master Chief had no personality either.
So I'm just pointing out the reality of all this sort of stuff. Any main character you played in Halo, they don't talk much. That's part of the formula.
They just do. It's what they do. They just do, man.
Yeah, they're the people of action, right?
Badassery don't talk a lot.
Yeah, that is true.
You saying badassery don't give a shit?
Yeah, that's
okay.
I mean, Pred's a badass and he talks all the goddamn time, so I don't know what you're talking about.
No, Pred is the
no, dude. When he goes to kill mode, I don't know, man. When Pred goes quiet, you have to worry.
Well, all right,
yeah,
guys,
he's quiet now.
Guys, since we're talking about Halo real quick, I just want to put out there, I watch this gaming media on YouTube. It's something called The Know, right? And I watch it with a cringe most of the time because I've seen them be absolutely biased.
The Know is trash.
All right,
The Know is garbage.
Well, check this out. They decided about four days ago to report about Halo Infinite having microtransactions. And when they were reporting it, they were relating it to EA with Battlefront 2. And I'm thinking to myself, have these guys played Halo 5 at all? Because there was microtransactions in that.
But they don't even have anything to base it on, though. You know what I mean? So it's just.
I think they came out and they said I believe 343 came out on Twitter and said something about it, and they reported it, and like I said, they reported it like it's a Star Wars situation.
Well, 343 said that there aren't going to be any loot crates. I mean, they flat out said it. There aren't going to be any loot crates.
No, you got to read between the lines on that. I know what you're talking about. They did come out on Twitter, and what they said was there is going to be no real money loot crates in
Right.
Halo Infinite. But if you read between the lines on that, there might be a way to possibly use your money to get a type of in-game currency that you could also earn playing the game to get rec packs or something like that. They just said there's
so basically what they did with Halo 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
My
That's
whole
exactly
thing
what
is
they know.
Yeah, but where do we? How do we get there? Like, what makes everyone think that that's a possibility?
Well, see, check this out. Predator in the DM, he was like, "Well, why are we talking about this? Because Halo Infinite is so far off."
Agreed.
But that's kind of my point. Why are they reporting on this if Halo 5 had microtransactions in it that, in my opinion, were the actual good way to do microtransactions in the game, but they would completely ignore what they did in Halo 5, and they were quick to reference a game that caught a lot of flack. It caught a lot of negativity because of their loot crate system.
That's simple, baby. It's in style to hate on Xbox. You already know that. That's the simple. That's just the answer. Unfortunately, it's sad, but that is really the answer. It is just cool to hate on Xbox. And I know we're going to touch this topic later, but Game Pass sucked ass a few months ago.
Yeah, I can't wait. That's going to be like the main event right there, man.
But PS Now sees, the infinite possibilities that are arriving with this. And Oh, it doesn't suck ass so much anymore.
All of a sudden, there's a place for that. But yeah, we will definitely get into that. I'm gonna go to Predator. Predator, I know you said this was too early to talk about it, and that was kind of my point there. Like, dude, what do you think? I know what you put in the DM. I don't know if you're gonna quote word for word what you put in the DM, but what do you think? Why isn't no coming out like this? Like, they've never heard of a Halo 5 or rec packs or anything like that, and they automatically swung it right towards Star Wars Battlefront 2, man.
Well, you know exactly, like, well, I can't quote word for word what I wrote in the DMs and stuff like that, but, like, it's an Xbox game, and that's why. Like, you know, suppress it now, make it an issue now. That way, when it comes out, it's a bigger issue. They start dropping reviews and stuff. They can come back and quote this shit later or talk about it later. They've done this with every single fucking Xbox exclusive since the beginning of this generation, where they talk shit about it before it gets out, and it ends up getting lower scores and ends up getting talked shit about. Even though they sell well, you know, as evident of the games we've gotten, like they talk shit about Sea of Thieves, they talk shit about State of Decay, they talk shit about Quantum Break, they talk shit about. There's always something about that game, or whatever game they have that comes out that's an exclusive that warrants it getting -5 points on Metacritic or whatever. And it's just a trendy thing to do. I think I wrote in DM is Xbox isn't a sexy thing right now, so it's sexier to pick on Xbox than it is to fucking promote it.
That's
so
where you get your clicks, man. You gotta say something negative about that Xbox brand. Now,
it furthers the agenda, baby. It furthers the agenda. That's
now, Predator, I will say, like I said, that was 4 days ago. Yesterday they came out with another video, and they did put Halo won't have the way they worded it was something about they won't have loot crates or something like that. So they came back. They had to bring it back a little bit. I don't know why they would do that, but you really think, like, do you think like there's gaming media out there like that might be a little scared with what they saw with that like engine demonstration, that this shit might be bananas? Like, there was people.
I don't think it's a fear thing. I think at this point it's just like it's a business strategy for them. Like when they look at their, you know, their numbers and stuff like that, and what sells and what gets the most, you know, clicks or what gets the most press, it's talking bad about Xbox. Is what draws in customers. Because if you see something negative about PlayStation, you may click on it, but you may not fucking like sit there and deal with it. Like,
Craig,
but like you say something
smashed in a game, dude. I just watched your gameplay. You just got stepped on.
Yeah. That game's called Planet Alpha, by the way. It came out like about 2 weeks ago. It was actually pretty fun. Okay. So like it's just like if you talk shit about Microsoft or Xbox in general, most people tune into that shit, and because they see those numbers popping up when they do that shit, it spreads like wildfire. You know, like you say something, another site says something, or everyone goes to that site and like it's like how we get like scores like a 4 on Forza when everyone else is giving it a 9. But you know what happens when they see that 4? They go to that website.
That is
why did you give it a 4?
Like, why the hell did you give it a 4? We got to see what they're doing here.
That's exactly what it is. So bad behavior is being rewarded by clicks.
Yeah, and that's all it is. So like, you know, let's start the process early, and then you can come back in 3 years and when the game comes out or whatever, and say, you know, this was a concern of ours 2 years ago, and they said it was going to happen, and it happened, et cetera, and it's stupid shit.
They're trying to archive and go back. Like I can definitely see that. Don, like, what do you think about this type of reporting? We already know, like, you know, Halo Infinite is pretty far off. We know Halo 5 had microtransactions that at one point in time, like, I know when it first came out, people were talking shit, but then after a while, it got a lot more people on board, and they're like, well, this is actually the right way to do it. Like, this is a big gaming site here, you know, a big gaming channel, and they acted like that didn't even happen, and they pointed to Battlefront 2, man. What do you think? Is this ever gonna end, or like, do you think this is bad reporting, man?
Well, it's definitely bad reporting, but let's clarify exactly what was said from somebody from 343. So Chris Lee, which is the new studio head, there he worked on Halo 5, Halo 4, Halo Reach, and Halo ODST. So he has a history not only at Bungie.
That is a nice history right there too, man.
He's not only has a history at Bungie, but he also has a history when 343 took over. As far as that goes, so he may have been working at 343 previously, or whatever, when they were helping out with those other games. But that being said, I mean, he's got a history with the franchise.
Yeah.
His direct quotes: "Keep the faith is appreciated. We're still working on the final plans to share more when we're ready, but I can definitely say that Halo Infinite will not include real money loot boxes." So that was the direct quote. So that's a stance from 343 as far as all that goes, and I can see how Bot can read between the lines and stuff like that, where you buy space bucks, right? And next thing you know,
basically it's a space buck scenario, but it's also with me looking at Halo 5. You know me, I got every piece of armor, I got every weapon, every vehicle in that game. I did not spend a dime.
Well, it could be the real money stuff. If they do take real money, is that you get to pick what you get to buy. It's not necessarily tied to a loot box, right? So, nice. So there's a lot of different possibilities of that. But here's the harsh reality: they know this is something that there's a certain populace of, the know. They know there's. It's funny I'm saying that, but but they know there's a certain populace that this triggers them, right? That are gamers. There's some gamers like myself that actually appreciate having this stuff in there, because A, I know what it does for the industry. B, it allows us to get free maps as far as that goes.
Yes.
So what you're getting there is you're getting the people are willing to pay the money for something they're happily willing to do with their own cash, subsidizing the continuous experience of the game I like. Mm-hmm. And last time I checked, and 343 does it way better than the Coalition, and I love Rod and all those guys, but 343 has that balance where you're always constantly fed stuff that you want, you want to play. So the more you play, the more rewarded, sort of thing. And they allow you to get those rewards early on versus make you grind a bunch before you get able to buy something, right? So, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Here's the thing: is the know going to be in the know by the time Halo Infinite's around? Like, all these outlets, they shoot themselves in the foot. Is what eventually happens. You cry wolf enough, eventually it's going to come back to you and say, well, they're not a trusted source. People don't look at IGN the same way they did a couple years ago. Just the way they've been acting and behaving, and with the recent scandal of somebody taking someone else's review and basically using it and that sort of thing, and that's more more blatant one.
They said that was an isolated case. That was just that person. It's not an environment thing.
And I understand what they're saying, but what happened? What was it? Less than a month earlier, then there was basically behavior that wasn't really acceptable at their on their Facebook page, and they had to do a public apology to Xbox, which they don't do that often, right? So, it's one of those things. Like, those sort of things don't just slip through the cracks if there wasn't some sort of cultural behavior within the company, right? There's isolated instances, and then there's the basically just how it is working there, where some people think these things are okay. Like, they get it in their head that it's okay to do this stuff, right? So there's some sort of water cooler talk there that makes people think that's okay.
I got you, man. Let's move to K Mega. I'm interested, man. I don't know how many shots you've taken from the beginning of this show, but you might be a little loose right now. And what do you think about what the No did with Halo? Like I said, they came like 3 days after the original video, and they came back and they're like, well, they're saying like no real money loot boxes or anything like that. But just to put it out there, knowing that there is a history with the franchise when it comes to Halo 5, and doing transactions in a way that a lot of people were like, you know what, that's absolutely fair. Like, what do you think about their reporting here, man?
Trash. Absolutely hot ass trash. I mean, once I seen it, and once it was like put out, I seen it like with some PlayStation fans that first came out and said it, and I posted it on Twitter, just like, look, this is the same thing that they did with rec packs. They tried to scare gamers by thinking that Halo is now turned into this
pay to win.
Pay to win type of ordeal instead of actually doing what they're supposed to do, and that is dig and get the information. They don't really do that anymore. That was something that we were talking about last night, GRG, about. I can remember, what was it? Revision Games. That was where Adam Sessler got on there, and he was with this other girl named Tara, and there was this one guy that had a beard. And I remember when they would have those little.
Is his beard weird?
Well, he had a beard. He had more glasses.
Did he have a weird beard?
He had one of those. I forgot what you call those.
Mega don't know. That was an Eminem reference.
Yeah, but
I don't know. But he was one of them little yuppie looking guys. You know what I'm saying? Just I'm a PC guy. And that was the first time ever that I really started.
About that big grizzly dude? Like
No. He was a little skinny guy. He was if you ever go back to Revision Games, and you'll go see he had a beard. He wore glasses, and he would always talk about how he was a PC guy and he couldn't stand Xbox, right?
Yo, hold on, Mega, I gotta say, Others Inc. in the chat, he said something incredible. He was like, same thing with Forza Motorsport 7.
Yes.
Microtransactions they never had,
never had. Now they may have tried to make a different angle, and they stopped it, nipped it in the bud before it even happened. Like they never even had. I never spent any money on Forza 7, so it was pretty crazy. But yeah, they did that, and I remember just going in and talking about how he couldn't stand Xbox and this and that. And the only time that he said something really positive about Xbox is because they showed a trailer to Phantom Dust, and they there was supposed to be some kind of remake. That was it. And then Revision Games went under, and then Adam Sessler left, and then they went under. But it's to me, it's one of them things where it's tiring, but it is what it is. That's why I listen to certain YouTubers to get my information, because it doesn't make any sense.
It does get tiring.
You know what I'm saying? Just give me the news.
Media, man.
Just give me the news.
Oh, dude.
That's it. Like, I mean, I used to be so excited to watch IGN and game trailers and whoever else. I mean, and I used to watch the Pack Attack all the damn time. Like, it was just like one of those things where I was enthralled into it. And then once I started seeing this, I was like, man.
Yeah, I think Pactor got Alzheimer's or something, because man, the stuff he's saying now makes no sense whatsoever.
So K-Mega, you want the who, what, when, where, and why? I mean, the basics? Is that what you're asking for?
I just want the basics. YouTubers can be the one to be, you know what I'm saying? To me, YouTubers are the ones that can be opinionated.
Yeah, exactly. I get where you're going.
But for you want to be looked at as a true journalist, you can't have those type of you know what I'm saying? You can't have those type of things unless you are on MSNBC or Fox News or something like that. But when you're talking about just video games, just give me the information about video games. That's all I ask. Like that, this shit right here is just absolutely ridiculous. So what they're doing with this, they're already planting the seed, like Pred said earlier, that there'll be something that they'll go back to, and they'll nitpick it to where they'll drop the score and won't give it a proper rating like it deserves.
Got you. Yo,
Brian.
What happened? What happened? I didn't get my mic messed.
No, just look at Brian Baker in the chat.
Oh, I was just saying my headphone messing up, and I couldn't hear anybody. What did he say?
Oh, we got the lady in the chat.
Shit.
Oh snap! It's Mel is in the chat, hanging out with us right now. Well, Dark, what do you think about this, man? Like, we have until I would say 2020 when Halo Infinite comes out. I wish it was coming out this year. I wish it was ready and everything like that. But what do you think about the no coming across there was no Halo 5 or anything, and just automatically talking about if there are microtransactions, Star Wars Battlefront 2 and all that good stuff, man. I was kind of sick. I was sickened by that actual video. Okay, that's awesome, Dark. What else do you have to say for yourself?
Oh, sorry, dude. My mic was muted. My bad.
So you were talking. You're talking at the mic.
Well, I'm trying. My freaking internet's going haywire again.
You gotta tear down that wall, man.
He was chewing over cod.
He lives next door to Trump. Trump built the wall. Now he doesn't get internet, man.
Oh wow.
The prototypes in his living room is what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's messy. It's getting real messy.
This is why I go to LA every.
This is why I go to LA.
Man, well, it's one of the few places you can get a full cube of butter in your coffee, and you get those weird sandals.
Who the hell would put butter in their coffee, man?
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
No, that's what they do down there. I'm not
so
joking.
Wrong.
He's not kidding.
Many
Oh,
levels
they do that.
wrong. But Dark,
Yeah.
what do you think about this reporting, man? Is this quality gaming reporting in your opinion?
No. I mean, come on. Like, the game's not even close to being out yet. Like, the game's not even. We've only seen one little trailer of the game. Like, we don't even know anything about the game, really. You know, so it's like when they go off and they start talking about, you know, this game being, you know, having microtransactions and stuff like that. Well, what game doesn't have microtransactions nowadays? You know, like there are so many games who have this type of stuff.
To the worst one too. Like they're like,
yeah, they're like Battlefront or whatever. And it's just like, what? Like there's more games that do microtransactions and do it better than EA has done it. Yes, EA has messed up and made things a lot more difficult for the microtransaction front, but I think, you know, in the long run, it's going to be a better you know, there's going to be better options out there. And plus, half the time with the Halo ones, I remember them being more cosmetic than anything else. You know, I don't remember them being.
They had a game mode called Warzone, and that's where, like, in the rec packs, when you get these weapons, right? You would get overpowered weapons in the rec packs and everything like that, but you can only use them in Warzone as being that more kind of like casual PvE type game mode. And I can honestly say I went into Warzone with just my traditional weapons, my BR and my Magnum, and I went all the way through the games, and my team still won. So it wasn't even really play to win, but you got to like play with weapons that did different things. That, you know, it kept the gameplay, the game mode alive, and it kept it.
The key was it's still balanced.
Yeah,
like overall, like that's the key to all this sort of stuff. Like on paper, something may seem unbalanced, but when you actually play, it's a totally different story.
Dude, yo, Don, this is the flood I was talking about. I was hooked on this game. Like
right here.
I was like, yo, dude, this is it, man. I love this game.
Oh yeah, I know. I seen that where you. Yeah, okay, good deal. Good deal. You did well. You chose wisely, Padawan.
Thank you. That was actually O Snaps. O Snaps is like, oh yeah. You go ahead and get Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I'm like, what? All right, no problem. But all right,
excellent choice.
On that note, guys, let's move on. Let's hit some of the bigger kind of like gaming news that has come down the line. And when I say bigger, I mean that in terms of scope of the news, because we are going mini, guys. Sony announced PlayStation Mini or PlayStation Classic will be coming out in December. I think this other company rhymes with Nintendo. Did something like this with their NES and Super NES. But yeah, they're coming out with a smaller version of the PlayStation 1. Has 20 games closed into it. We do know of a couple of them. But it's going to be $100. Comes with 2 controllers. And I got to ask the panel. Let me start with, let's see, who am I going to start with? Let's start with Knox. Knox, first off, did you see the PlayStation Mini? What do you think, man? Is this something that's going to sell? Is this something that you might have an interest in, that you might buy?
All right. That it's going to sell? Absolutely it is. I mean,
unfortunately, I think so too.
Yeah, we got to call a spade a spade. It's absolutely going to sell. Now, keep in mind, if you are a gamer, I'm a gamer. You know, but I'm not a collector. If you are one of those guys that you just love getting those, you know, those different consoles, those special
Retro Drax.
Yes, if you are my nephew, Retro Drax, you're probably gonna get yourself a PlayStation Mini or PlayStation Classic, because that's how they're spinning it, and you're gonna put it on your mantle and never touch it again. What I don't like
Put it on your what?
Mantle.
A mantle.
Okay.
What you thought?
He had no answer. He just wanted to know what you said. A what?
I just want to clarify. That's all.
It's just a darn fucking with me. It's not a car backfire this time, Don. All right?
I don't know what you're insinuating, but apparently it's his mantle.
All right, we'll get back to that later. But what I was gonna say, right? If you're a collector and you're into that, that's fine. What I don't like about it is $100, 20 games, right? 20 games, that's already too short. And on top of that, you're only telling me 4, and then I gotta guess what the other 16 are.
They're eventually going to come out with the list, though, right? They're not going to just say 4 and that's it. They got to come out.
How can you announce the price before you announce the list of games?
Facts.
You can't do that. You only can do that if you're only if you are a brazen ass company like Sony is. They take everything for granted because they don't care. They don't have any respect for the consumer. They just don't. They just don't. I'm a gamer. I love everything, bro. I have a PS Pro. I have an X. I have everything. But the fact of the matter is that Sony just doesn't respect its consumer base, bro. It just doesn't. They gonna put it out there because it's gonna make them money, and that's all they care about. Well, so me, I'm gonna pass on it. If you're a collector, go ahead and grab it. I hope the games are good. You're never gonna play them. I wish it would have had something like, maybe you plug it in and you can download some games over the internet or something.
Yeah, some type of internet port where you can add games to it afterwards, even for a small fee or something like that. That would have been hot, man.
Yeah, are they in 1080p? I don't know anything.
Well, let's be honest here, and this is my main gripe with this. Like, there are certain generations that hold up well visually. All right, you look at the Super NES. That classic, the mini Super NES, to me, those games still hold up to this day visually. Now, when you're talking PlayStation 1, you're talking the beginning of that 3D generation where they're trying to make games in 3D and putting them out there and stuff like that. I mean, let's be honest, guys. They're not really great to look at.
Nobody wants to play Battle Arena Toshinden, man. Nobody wants to play.
Hey now.
Man, you're a mixed company. You got to watch yourself.
Oh, shoot.
Get out of here. You want to play Block? I can put.
I'm not talking about me, but I know who I'm podcasting with.
Listen, I can get some blocks together. We could put a square block on top of a triangle block, and you bring it out.
Bro, Battle Arena Toshinden is life, man. Come on now. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it was back in 91.
95.
It wasn't? There we go. So, yeah. Oh, shit. I thought it was more.
I
thought it was more dated than that.
Iterations,
well, hold on. Jazzy in the chat, he's like, I want Final Fantasy 7. Now, Jazzy, I believe like Final Fantasy 7 is also coming to Xbox as well.
Right.
So, like,
and why not wait? Why not wait for the remake? The remake is coming out soon.
Well, because the remake might be trash because it's episodic, man. Let's be real here. I don't know how they're gonna make Final Fantasy 7.
Why would it be trash? Hitman wasn't trash, and that was episodic.
But all right, people looking forward to Final Fantasy 7. Exactly what K Mega said. They got into the RPG and stuff like that. If you're gonna only be able to go so far in the first episode, and you can't really do your grinding and explore and get into places where you shouldn't be, and still kind of like get out there with a victory and some type of loot and stuff like that. That is Final Fantasy 7 right there.
Yeah, no, but we got to keep in mind, Final Fantasy 7. It wasn't about grinding. RPGs back then were not, so grind heavy.
Dude, I was out there wandering, grinding out battles and stuff like that to build up.
No. That was called leveling. That was us leveling. It wasn't grinding. Grinding is like fetch quests where go get 20 of these. And
I am sorry, Mr. Gaming Dictionary over here. All right. Leveling. Leveling is what I'm talking about.
That was leveling when you became level appropriate. You just waxed everything's ass that was beneath your level, and and that, which is, I'm a big fan.
I did a lot of leveling, man. Yo, let's put it that way. But
but you play Destiny. You already know. You know leveling, bro.
Yeah, you see my power level.
Grinding.
You know I grind, man.
I grind. Come on.
He also did a lot of wax ass grabbing.
Well, Dark, I'm glad you chimed in because it is now your turn, sir. What do you think? I am actually really interested to hear what you have to say about this. You and like K Mega, you have a really wide kind of like, gaming library. Do you think this is a good piece of hardware to come out? Is this something that you're looking forward to, man?
I'm not looking forward to it, but I can see why so many people are excited for it. Because I mean, let's face it.
So
I mean,
ugly though, man.
you can't get PlayStation 1 games on PS4. I mean, let's just be honest here. Unless
now it's almost
you're
guaranteed
getting a service.
Yeah.
Unless you're getting a service that's called PlayStation Now and you're paying up the ass for it. Like let's be honest.
Well, what kind of payment plan you on, brother?
What do you mean? What kind of plan am I on? Because that PlayStation Now is a freaking ton of money for. I know right now they have a deal on it, but I mean, let's face the facts. Is that a lot of people they trash about backwards compatibility. They trash the old games, and then all of a sudden, as soon as they see something for PlayStation, they're all excited about it, and it's like, okay, like I mean,
like,
is
I thought you
it
didn't
that
want to
big
play
of a
old
deal?
games, man.
Yeah, I thought you guys didn't want to play old games, and for me, like Mooch says, it's nostalgia is a hell of a drug. Shout out to him. He's right. It's true. You see a game like that and you're like, or you see something like that and you're like, oh man, I want to go out, I want to get it. But then if you start thinking about it more and more, you're not gonna play that for that much, for that long. Especially with the games like that, when they were starting to get more into the 3D realm of
See, and that's
gaming.
That right there, Dark. That is my key point right there. Like
Yeah.
I would think about this a little bit more if it wasn't, in my opinion, such an ugly generation. Now, when we were living through it, it was like, oh my god, look at that game.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic. But now it's like you get these games that are like completely different. They just look fantastic. Like, like Spider-Man or Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Like both of those games look fantastic now. And when you go back and you play something like Crash Bandicoot on frickin' the PS1, not the remastered version, but the PS1 version, you're like, yeah, that doesn't look as good, And then it's the same thing with like Tekken 3. You're not gonna see that same fidelity like you see with Tekken 7.
Oh, don't. You said the T word like a couple times.
I know, and I'm trying to get him to chime in, but he's not.
Well, no, he's right. I'm giving we're just talking about Tekken.
He's agreeing with you, Dark, right now. Just take that.
Yeah. I mean, but it's still the mighty Tekken. I mean, that Tekken 3 is still.
Wait, was that the generation when
I think?
What happened?
No, was that the generation of Tekken where the characters weren't sweaty?
Oh, you're thinking of Dead or Alive.
No, he's right. Tekken 3, they didn't have that gloss to them. It's not like they oiled it up before the fight, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I will say Tekken 3 is probably the Tekken I played the absolute most out of any of them. Like me and my friends.
Well, yeah, that was a fantastic game, So it's like
then.
Great that you're giving us those games like on, but then all of a sudden they announce a couple other games. I was like, I have no idea what these games are, like, and I mean, not to say that they're crappy games, but I mean, I'm not gonna shell out $100 if I don't know what I'm really getting,
Yeah, what are the other like there's 20 games. They announced how many? They announced what?
Like 5 or 6, something like that.
About 4 to 6, I think.
So there's about 16 games there that they didn't mention. What happens if they're the B rate kind of like PlayStation games that only have like that niche kind of like following? I don't know. To me, I would rather. I wasn't even a big fan of the NES Classic. All right, because to
neither
me,
was I.
Yeah. It was really way too dated. I mean, I loved those games when I was a kid. I rather keep those kind of like fond memories. I did like the Super Nintendo one because we can argue all day about this, but 2D side-scrolling games to this day Super Nintendo has it on lock, man. Those games still look beautiful. They play incredible. And to me, that would be more worth it, in my opinion. But PlayStation...
Same argument can be made about the Genesis, too, right? It was that era. It's more of the issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that Super Nintendo Genesis, they were in that era where they really kind of like perfected that 2D game. And they made some gorgeous, cartoony looking... I mean, the Zelda that they have on the Super Nintendo, it's one of my favorite ones. Like all time, and to me, to this day, it's still aesthetically pleasing enough for me to go in and beat it and not get tired of it just because it looks so old. That's my whole thing with the PlayStation Classic. But
yeah, it's gonna look terrible, and people are gonna be like, "Oh God, like I can't believe I even like this."
Damage control it. They're gonna be like, "No, I like it's classic, man. That's it. It's what's gonna happen, dude. Let's be real."
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I don't know, Mega. What do you think about this, man? We did get Otter, who's got that wide range of gaming in his library, and we come to you. You have a shit ton of games on your PC and stuff like that. What do you think about this classic? Are you gonna be picking this thing up, man?
And not until I find out about the 20 games. And really, I'm still gonna be reluctant to get it. I want to get it because the PlayStation 1 is still my all-time favorite console.
Really, mine's a Dreamcast, man. To be really honest.
Well, the Dreamcast is really close.
Look at that spider right there. You saw that.
And the X is in that same category. I mean, because of just how amazing that the X is. But the thing to me is that for nostalgia reasons, I kind of want it just because of that. But for $100 and then it's not enough games, it's ridiculous to me. Delilah made a really good point last night because we were both asked, we brought this up, and then I was asking, like, what if if Xbox did a mini? And to me it was like Delilah said it would be different if the PlayStation would allow you to emulate games into the system, so that you could get more games.
Yeah,
that would be smart. But of course, we're talking about Sony, and they want to capitalize on this. They're doing the same thing.
Nintendo doesn't do that either with their systems, right?
Well, I think I think you can on the Super NES. I think you can emulate games on there. But the one factor overall is that Nintendo and PlayStation is doing it because they don't want their games to be emulated. And I have an emulator. I'm not afraid to say that, and games look amazing pumping out of your
Yoshida's coming to your house right now
he come to my house. I'm not selling these games. That's when you get into trouble, is when you're selling those games. I just it's to me is that the games look a lot better, and it just comes to shows that Andrew House was a liar, Yoshida was a liar, because they said that they couldn't implement these type of things. They couldn't do it. Who would want to buy older games? But then all of a sudden they come with this mini, and it's
they saw Nintendo is selling. They saw
Nintendo do it. Like, I mean, God cannot be. This is the thing not about all PlayStation fans, because I'm a PlayStation fan. I'm talking about the fringe group. They are, like, to me, like the people that likes to go and watch on Twitter or anywhere what's trending, or on YouTube, and see what's trending and watching, and think that they're in the know, and think that they're cool like that. Like, they're the ones that'll watch Caitlyn Jenner and see what kind of cereal she eats with milk for the first time. When I first heard that, I was like, who the hell would do that? Like, that's what the fringe PlayStation fan is like to me, man. It's like,
you can't see me, but I'm face palming right now
because that's exactly what they are to me. Like, I mean, they were all against it because the company that they beloved was against it. Now they do it, they love it. It's like, can people? I mean, and I'm wondering, like, do people really comprehend that these people don't know what the hell? Most of them don't know what the hell that they're talking about. They're not really gamers. If you was all about nostalgia, then you know the true greatness of what PlayStation was. You know what I'm saying? And then you want to talk about this generation, that's fine. And if you're new to this generation, just admit it. Don't act like you know what went on back then. Don't do that shit. It's crazy. So, 20 games, and you only know a pocket full. I like the fact, I love Wild Arms. Wild Arms was the very first RPG.
I knew you were going to like that pick, man. I knew it.
Wild Arms was fire. And then, of course, Final Fantasy 7, but that's coming to the Xbox. I already got Final Fantasy on the PlayStation 4 and on PC. And then but you got to give me something like Toshinden would be hot. That would get me on board. But there's so many
Vagrant
other
Story.
Yeah, there's Ark of the Lad. There's Dark Cloud. There's Xenogears. There's so many. You know what I'm saying? Legend of Legaia, Legend of Lagoon.
I'm hearing all these games, and you know what just pops into my mind. Instead of getting people to buy $100 piece of small hardware, why don't you get developers on either a remaster, a remake, or a sequel, man?
They won't do it. Like you got to have in that list. Like, see, that's what kind of makes me a little nervous about it, because you have to have one of PlayStation's stapled games is Twisted Metal. You would think that they would throw that out there, like we got Twisted Metal 1 and 2 in there. That would
get people excited, man. That would,
yeah, like I mean, but you didn't
even
hear
though they
anything.
look horrible now, man. I got Twisted Metal on the PS4. We bought the digital version of it, and I had so much fun with Twisted Metal. I went in to play it, got all excited, and I'm like, damn, this game handles like trash and it looks like trash. Like, I remember when it was great, but that's what we had at that time. You know what I'm saying? That's when,
yeah, you're right, because I picked up when I seen that Twisted Metal Black was available on the PS4. That was like the second game I bought. I bought that before I got Neo, and so I was like, oh, I got to be on that, and it looked horrible because they don't care about the nostalgia fan. They just care about what they want to do right there, while Xbox is doing a fan service by emulating these games and making them comparable to the console that they got. And that to me says a lot. So if PlayStation really, say for the $100, you would have to have at least 50 games, and you would also have to have an option to emulate those games into that mini. But it's a cash grab overall.
All right, nice. So
why did you have to use like the most boring gameplay for me?
I figured,
Disrespect.
would get excited. Dude, I had to get something that already had kind of like the overlay and stuff ready for the game. But anyway.
What are you talking about?
But yeah, we know the score would happen with those Rams.
You don't know how I do this, man. All right, just trust in the system. That's all I got to say, man.
Okay. I can't. You're putting out shit like this.
Unblock your gameplay, which for some reason is blocked right now, and I can get that new fire from you, man. But Pred, I gotta ask you, man, with this mini PlayStation, you to me, you are like a no nonsense gamer. You don't really put up with a lot of gimmicks or anything like that. Do you think this is Do you think this is Predator? Do you think this is a gimmick here? Does this just looking at what Nintendo is doing, so they kind of threw something together? Are you interested in the PlayStation Classic, man?
It's definitely a cash grab. I'm not interested in this shit at all. I wasn't interested in the NES Mini, the SNES Mini. Like, I don't play old games. Like, when I'm done, I'm done. Like, it's cool. Like, and here's the thing I like about the Xbox: we get Back Compat, right? So if I own the game, I can play it again. Or I can go out and maybe purchase a disc and for $5 somewhere and pick it up online or something like that and play it. And I said this I was on Boom's podcast Friday. And I think I said this on this show before too. Every old school gamer out there has a small list of games they want to play. And when they want on Back Compat or, old school games, whatever they want to play again. But when you fire them up and you play them, you're like, this shit fucking sucks. You want this new shit we got now. You want these Tomb Raiders and shit like that, like cyberpunk type games.
Yeah, like back then it was the best we had, and we were happy with it.
It was, and you said it earlier too. Like, it was great then. It ain't great now. You're still dealing with the same shitty mechanics, the glitches, the fucking 8-bit error bullshit. Like, it sucks now because we know where we're at. So, like, for me to go back and buy something to play games like this that I don't even care about anymore, it's just not for me. And like, I think Knox said it earlier. If you're a collector, all for it, man. Good for you.
On that mantle.
Put that shit up somewhere in the corner, and you'll probably never touch that shit. But like, for them to come out and be like, here are the 5 games we're releasing, and we got 15 more coming. And I think that's a misstep. Like, show us everything. I don't know if Nintendo did that either. Nintendo
had a lot of games, but that
I don't know. I don't remember because I didn't care at the time. I was like, I'm not getting it.
Well,
So,
at least
Nintendo,
a couple days.
Nintendo announced all their classics, bro.
Okay.
I was gonna say at least within a couple days of the announcement, they had a complete list out there on the internet of all the games you were getting on the Nintendo systems. Like
here's why it's a cash grab. You mean to tell me, and this is my biggest issue with the Switch. You mean to tell me you can't put all that shit on a store, a virtual store, and let me buy all that shit so I can download it and pay for it, those games myself, and play on my Switch? You mean to tell me you can't do Back Compat? This for the Sony guys up there. You can't do Back Compat or have an emulator on the PlayStation 4 where I can play all it and even buy them if I want them, all those games. You mean to tell me you can't put those same games you're putting on this mini on PS Now? Is it about selling the console or is it about us playing the games? There's a difference. Because like right now, I can play all my games Back Compat that I most of the games I enjoyed back in the day on my Xbox, and I will pay for them if I want them. I have a choice, I have a selection. I'm not getting force fed 100 or 20 games of shit that, like, you know, maybe 3 of them I really want to play, and the other 15 I don't really give a shit about. Like, I can pick and choose on Xbox, and I will happily pay for those games I want to play, versus just being force fed this mini console that I can't do really much anything else with, but play those same games. I don't get it, man. And like, people are gonna buy this shit in droves, and it's gonna sell. I think we all kind of agree with that. It's gonna sell because any new hardware sells. But like, what do you give it like 2 months and see if anyone's using that shit?
There is a trend that Nintendo started with these like miniature consoles, because we know third party has done it with Sega and the Genesis system. There's a couple different companies who made like smaller little Genesises, like for a few years, and some people bought them, some people didn't. It wasn't really a thing. Now Nintendo came out with the NES, and it turned into a big thing. And of course, they undershipped them, which created the hype, made it even bigger. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so now, I mean, business-wise, if you're seeing a trend and you can put money into making something that kind of goes with that trend, like minimal resources, but coming out with a product that goes with that trend to make money, you're going to do it as a business. But my whole thing is that generation is not, to me, I am not like begging to go back and play games from the original PlayStation. And that was my favorite PlayStation out of any of the ones I've played on. And I played on 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I owned a PlayStation 1 and I own a PS4. To this day, the PlayStation 1 was still my favorite. It's just that generation, with them getting into the 3D graphics and everything like that, that's not a generation I'm looking to go back and enjoy myself in.
Yeah, and I'm like, I've never been like, I really want to go back and play Contra. I've never said that to myself. Like, I might say, I really like for them to make a new Contra, or something like that, but I've never been like, I want to go play Contra from back in 1998. I've never done, like, it just, I don't know. I've gotten some Back Compat titles, because I had my list of games that I wanted. I wanted Ninja Gaiden, I wanted Fable, I wanted Ghost Recon, right? I got those games. I tried, and Splinter Cell, and I tried to play those games, and I was like, man, this shit sucks. You know, like I tried to get into them and play them on the Back Compat, and I just could not get into them again because they just didn't look good to me. They looked good back then, but now, like, we got so much more shit. We got ray tracing. We got like all this other shit now. I want that shit, so I can't go back and play these old games like that. I don't get it.
All right,
you know.
Well, let's get the Don in here. I know he chimed in like while we were talking and stuff. I want to see if there, Don, is there anything else? What is your opinion of this piece of hardware? 20 PlayStation games. I think they announced either 4 or 6 of them from the PlayStation 1 era. Is this something that you would be interested in, man?
Personally, no. I mean, it's not a bad idea, but it's poorly executed, is what I would say. You know, they're just because I'm not that target market audience that would buy one of these doesn't mean they shouldn't make them. But I think they need to do it correctly. You need to be able to actually plug it into a wall. Not just.
I like the idea of like an internet connection and possibly downloading more games in the future.
The AC adapter is not included.
Nope, it's not. It's USB.
What?
Yeah, so here's the other thing is people forget this about.
You mean there's a USB?
I got to keep going.
Okay.
Can't stop, won't stop.
I'm shocked right now, man. I didn't know that.
Well, the other thing is too, people forget the PlayStation 1 era was the era where the standard controls changed mid-gen. So you actually had what they're showing with the Mini with analog sticks at one time. So somewhere in the part of that generation, that's when they changed to dual analog, and you don't have that. So that's going to limit what they're going to put on this Mini.
See, I didn't even think about the limitation when it came to that. I am more in favor of the direction pad more than the dual thumbsticks, because
that's fine, but like but it limits what you can put on the machine.
Yeah,
right.
I didn't think about that either.
You're not going to be able to play Gran Turismo and control the throttle with one of the analog sticks and steer with the other, like, which was a big deal. I forget which Gran Turismo did that, but you kind of get where I'm kind of going with that. You're just going to be restricted on what you can put on this little box. So yes, and I hear what everyone's saying, and I've said this before. There's a generation of gaming that just doesn't hold up well. And it's not just this. It's not just the PlayStation 1. It's the N64. It's the Sega Saturn. Like it was just not a good generation for 3D. It was new at the time, and we've come so far. It's really hard to go back. They don't hold up.
It's like the infancy stage when it came to 3D, kind of like video games.
Yeah, and one thing I will commend them on is the fact that, like, let's be honest, does anyone really have a working PlayStation 1?
I do.
It works.
Yeah.
Or you sure you don't have to flip it upside down?
Oh no!
Hold the tray on a certain way.
Dude, I used to have to do that in my original PlayStation. I used to have to put the game in and flip the whole system upside down for it to play.
I've been through.
Yeah, I have
8. I've been through 6 to 8 PlayStation 1s.
So that's what I'm saying, though. Like. Yeah. That's the thing that people don't want to admit about the PlayStation 1 era. Like, everyone loved it. It almost had like that same 360 effect where people loved the platform, but there was hardware issues. Let's be honest. And a lot of it was fixed right around the disk drive. But actually, we're lucky we made it through that generation still using disk, to be honest with you. Just because if the consumers flipped on Sony or Sega at that time, that really would have impede the progress of what we can do with games. But people stuck with it, all that sort of stuff. But it's pretty hard to get a PlayStation 1 to work that's older. So this makes sense for those people that want, hey, something that resembles the original PlayStation, something they can play that feels like it. There's something contextual when you have those original controllers that make it feel unique. Even the crinkle of the plastic when you get intense and put a little pressure on it and stuff like that. There's something unique about that. I mean, that's something the NES Mini still preserved when they remade it, and there's nothing wrong with the Super Nintendo Mini. But outside of that, they should offer Back Compat on their hardware. So hopefully this is a baby step for them to get there. But I don't know what their end goal is or what they're looking into, so we'll see.
Well, Don, we're talking about that. Let's the whole Back Compat and everything like that. We can go right into the next topic, which is PlayStation Now. We are going to stay in the Sony camp here. Sony announced that with their PlayStation Now subscription service, you will now be able to download PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 4 games instead of the traditional streaming that people who have been subscribed to this service.
So it's 2 and 4, and obviously not PlayStation 3.
Not 3. I guess with the whole,
because they can't emulate it with the CPU
with the cell processor that they had. They can't really necessarily emulate it. But I can swear there's emulators out on the computer. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is there PS3
They don't
emulators?
work. They don't work well.
They don't work
What?
well.
No, say it again. No, say that again. Hold on, wait a minute.
PlayStation 3 emulators on the computer. They exist, right?
Oh, okay. They do have them, but
they don't work well.
I'm just waiting for another couple of years before they get.
Well, it's even like there's somebody to jailbreak the PlayStation 3, and they kind of got something up and going, but it still doesn't work well. Like, it definitely crashes a lot. Like, here's the thing: you need way more powerful CPU, probably more powerful than when you have in a Xbox One X to try to emulate what the cell processor was able to do.
All right.
Back
check,
in
It's just
check
better
this
to
out,
buy a
guys.
PlayStation 3 or just keep your PlayStation 3.
Well, check this
Exactly.
out. Well, no, they're offering the streaming service with PlayStation Now. You'll be able to play PlayStation 3 games streaming, but downloading games, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 4.
Okay.
My whole thing here is Game Pass. Game
Yes.
Pass that came out, which is $10 a month on the Xbox side of things. You download, any game that you want to play in the Game Pass library. You have full access to it for $10 a month. And I guess, people were saying this wasn't a success. Anytime you have competitors within the industry that you're working in starting to emulate what you're doing, guess what? That is a success right there. That function or that feature that you put out there that they're starting to emulate, they're doing that because they're seeing the promise of what that company is doing, and they're like, man, we got to catch up. We got to do something similar to that. So PlayStation Now has been around for a while, but they never let you download games. It was always streaming. You always had to deal with the streaming lag and stuff like that. But now they're going to let you download PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 4 games. Now, I want to go in. Let me ask Predator first. And I know, Knox, I know you want to talk about this. We will definitely get to you. But I got to ask Predator. Dude, what do you think about this with PlayStation Now? Is this kind of like a sign that Sony might be realizing what the future of this console gaming industry, where it's going, and this might be the first step to them bringing features onto the PlayStation that they might have said no about before? And like, what do you think about this? Is this a good feature subscription service on the PlayStation 4 side?
I think PlayStation Now is a failure, and they're doing this to kind of make it not a failure anymore. It's one of the things that people complained about anyway in the first place. This should have been there when they announced it.
Do you think they knew how to do it before, and they were just kind of being stubborn, like, no, you got to stream it?
I think they were really trying to push streaming at the time, and they realized that it's not working. And no one's, I don't know what the sales numbers are for PlayStation Now, what the attach rate is or anything like that, but I don't think it's really that good, just off the surface. But and I think they realized that, they bought these Gaikai servers and all this other shit they're trying to do, and they see that the industry around them, whether it's Xbox, Amazon, pick a company, we're all going towards, this bigger streaming service than what they have. And PlayStation Now isn't that. It's not even close to that. So this is just their way to say, hey, we need to kind of get away from what we're doing now and try something different and let these guys download these things, because our streaming service sucks right now, and it's not working out for them. So I could see them kind of maybe, with the person they hired to run the division, kind of starting to work towards what everybody else is kind of following suit of what everyone else is doing going forward.
Now, Predator, when it comes to this service, of course they say you can download PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 4 games. We were talking off the air, and I think we came to, there was about maybe 4 PlayStation 4 games on PlayStation Now. Bloodborne. There was a couple remasters and stuff, and I see
Uncharted and something else. I think Last of Us may be on there.
So this is basically as of right now, with only 4 PS4 games out there. One of them in the greatest hits, kind of like collection or whatnot. So you can actually probably get the game for the same price as like 1 month of service. I mean, to me, this subscription service is basically to play PlayStation 2 games or download the PlayStation 2 games as well as like streaming PS3. This sounds like something that Sony extremists were talking negatively towards in terms of backwards compatibility.
It is the exact same thing. It's like they talk shit about us doing it on our console, but now they're doing it. That's
you got some bills, man.
Yo, Sir X, man, thank you for hitting up the super chat. He said, Xbot, give to Snaps for the kids, and I will absolutely do that, man. Thank you so much.
For the 20 kids that you have.
Yeah, hey.
That ain't going to feed one kid, man.
There's 3 in the house right now, okay? There's 3 in the house, and nobody has heard them this entire time. They deserve that, all right? I'm just saying. They're doing really good tonight, by the way. Thank you, Sir X. I appreciate the support, man. But go ahead, Fred.
I forgot what the question was. I started
talking about Xbox Kids, and it just goes off from there. Like, yeah. But no, I'm saying we're like it looks like they're kind of like their answer to backwards compatibility, and it's going to be behind the subscription service more than anything else. Like, how do you feel about that, man?
I mean, they're following suit, right? I mean, they see it's like you said a while ago. They see it's a success on the Xbox side, so why would they not try and I
gotta say though, Xbox has way more Xbox One this generation games in it, and we get exclusives day and date. Where is all that stuff, man?
That ain't coming no time soon.
You don't think so?
Nah. I mean, no. I don't think they have the.
I mean,
I don't think they have the infrastructure. To be honest with you, I don't think they put the money into it like Microsoft has with their cloud and stuff like that. Microsoft's on a different level when it comes to that kind of shit. So they've worked this out. They did this for a reason. They stepped in the forefront to make this happen for a reason. And I think now Sony's trying to play catch up. And we've laughed about this before, but Sony sees the writing on the wall, and it's almost like they're trying to be stubborn, but they're not anymore. Because they kind of see where it's going, and they're trying to get into it now. Versus before, they were kind of like, no, we're not doing that. You guys don't need Back Compat. You guys don't need, rumble triggers. Who wants to play old games? And now they see that it's marketable, and they're like, oh shit, we can make money this way. So,
oh shit.
Yeah. So I mean, they're gonna do that meme that I think that we've seen before, where it has that PlayStation copying Nintendo and Microsoft. Like, I mean. Keep in mind, Sony is the market leader right now when it comes to selling consoles. So you expect them to start making these moves that Microsoft has always been making in the past, where they're in the forefront trying to push the industry forward. Sony hasn't really done that. I don't think I've ever seen them do, with the exception of maybe VR, which they didn't start. They just kind of put it on consoles. But I don't know if they can handle that.
There was a couple things when it comes to Sony. Definitely not in the same listing as Xbox, but being able to take over your friend's game for a half hour over the internet, that to me, that was innovation right there. The ease of use with the share button in terms of sharing screenshots to Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. To me,
biggest one is disc format. That's what put them on the map.
Well, I'm talking this generation, though.
I'm just talking just in general. Like, they don't have a whole lot.
You know what I mean? A whole lot.
So, like,
it seems like Microsoft is always ahead of its time when they do shit like this, and and then it sucks when they do it, but then when someone else does it, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing!
I can't wait to play PlayStation 2 games. This is going to be incredible. I can download them now." Like, yeah, dude. And let's be honest here. Like what I said about the PlayStation 1 era, when it comes to PlayStation 2. All right, when it comes to downloading these games, hopefully they rectify the whole kind of like blurry trail looking stuff. Because I remember playing GTA on the PlayStation 2, and it was like a bad acid trip. I played it because, again, at that time, that's what we had, and it was awesome. But you go back and look at it now, it's like, man, some hippie took some bad acid, and you're looking through their eyes trying to play this game. But yo, Knox, I'm glad you chimed in, man. I want to hear what do you think about PlayStation now adding, you're able to download games. It's going to be PlayStation 2 games and PlayStation 4. We went through the fact that there's about only 4 PlayStation 4 games on there. What do you think about this service, man?
Oh, man, are there that many PS4 games? I thought it was like about
there's at
2
least,
and I thought it was like
4,
2 and
maybe
knack.
6.
I thought it was 2 and knack. So,
oh shit!
He said 2 plus knack. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, listen, it was only a matter of time. What's pretty astounding about this is that all of a sudden now that PlayStation is talking about doing this, and mind you, for those who don't know, just real quick, let me just bring this in. The real price for PlayStation now is $12.99 monthly, so that's $2.99 more than Game Pass. And they got like 3 PS4 games. Okay, that's number one. Number two, If I own the game back in the 360 era, if I bought it digitally, yes, I already get it, right? Whether I'm a Game Pass or not, it's backwards compat. I already own it.
Just put the game in your system and play it.
Correct. Either I put the disc, or if I got the digital version, I'm going to be able to download it and play it. Not the case with PS Now. You have to rebuy it, right? But all of a sudden, it's being looked at now as, oh my God, this is pretty cool, man. This is pretty awesome that this is coming out now. Well, you know what, guys? Hey, Xbox did it first, bro. Microsoft did it first. They beat you to the punch. You better get in on it. And that's why they're doing this now. They didn't care. They said, yeah, it's going to stream, and it's going to stream because we said so. Because we're Sony, we said so. It's going to stream.
Yeah, wow.
Right? Now, when Microsoft said, hey, you know what? You're going to get a better quality when you download the game. So Game Pass, hey, you're going to be able to download as long as you're a member of Game Pass for $9.99 a month. You're going to be able to play it. Boom. No shortcomings. No anything. Now that they're seeing the success, and trust me, it is a success because PlayStation wouldn't be doing this otherwise. Sony would not be doing this otherwise. Mm-hmm. It is a success, and that's why they are emulating it. That's why they are emulating Nintendo and releasing this classic PS1.
They're trying to get that money, man.
Absolutely. And they're going to get it. And they're going to get it because Sony fanboys just can't wait to throw their money. Hey, to throw my money on the wall.
Well, let's be real here. Like when PlayStation Now first came out, the Sony extremists were like, "Oh my goodness, this is so great. They're going to buy into that." Like at the end of the day, there are extremists out there that will say Sony, day one buy, and then day one comes and they don't buy. Let's be real here.
No, they don't. They don't and they won't. They don't and they won't. But they sure as hell will talk shit like they do.
Yeah. That is for sure.
But what I'm saying, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But what I'm saying is this is something coming directly from Sony because they are seeing that it is lucrative. It is a smart decision. It is something that I've always said it, bro. This Game Pass thing, this is awesome. It really is. Like right now, I got a friend. He was just barely able to buy. I'm not going to shout him out, but he was just barely able to get his son for his birthday Xbox One S, and got him 6 months of Game Pass. I hooked him up with a deal. He got the deal. He got it for like $30 for 6 months. That's great, right?
Yeah.
He's loving it, downloading all the games, playing Fortnite. You can't beat that. And Sony's not stupid, bro. They see that it's a very smart business decision, man. It's gonna be. Yeah.
I was gonna say, Knox, it is a smart decision, but we on the Xbox side, we have been enjoying Game Pass for a while now, and to me, I know a lot of the big gaming media out there is like, oh no, this is a really good start and stuff like that. To me, this looks like a half step to getting something equal quality. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's like, all right, you're giving the downloads to PS4, PlayStation 2 games, but when you look at it and you look deeper into it, you're like, oh, well, I only have 4 or 6 PS4 games to look forward to, and I'm not getting. They haven't said anything about exclusives, day and date when they drop, nothing like that. To me, it's a half step on what their competitor is doing anyway.
Well, listen, for Sony to match Microsoft, I need to hear Sony say, hey, you bought Uncharted on PS3, you bought God of War on PS2. Well, here they are. Access them free because you already own them. Once I hear that, then okay, I can be like, all right, Sony, you're doing what you're supposed to do. But that's not the case right now. The case right now is they're trying to match Game Pass. They're charging you $2.99 more a month, and let's not get that mixed up, guys. $2.99 more a month, all right?
For less,
it's 12,
basically, as well.
Yes, for less. You can't play what you already own, and that's my biggest gripe and my biggest concern. I already own everything digitally that I bought on PS3, and because PS2, not so much, but I would love to be able to pop a PS2 disc in, like Beyond Good and Evil or something like that, and rock it. But you know what? At least let me whatever digital content I bought on the PS3, let me play that. But they're not even giving us that.
All right, I will say, when I said less, I meant in terms of like downloading games. I will say they have the PlayStation 3 library in there that you can stream as well, which when you look at the games all together, it is more expensive, $12.99 per month, like Knox said. They have a special right now where you can get 1 month for $10, or you can put down $99 for 1 year of PlayStation Now. They are running that special on the PS4 right now. I do want to get in K-Mega. I think you've been waiting to talk about this. It is the hot topic going on right now. What do you think about this service? I think we've gone through a bunch of the details, and we're really kind of left with, what is your opinion of this in terms of downloading games, PS4, PS2, the price? Like, what are your thoughts about this service and what Sony is doing now?
It's about time, and they seem to like, thanks to Xbox innovation. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Xbox brought something to the console gamer that PC fans were able to brag about. Now we look at it from a standpoint from where, of course, you see the streaming from what PlayStation was trying to do. It just didn't work out. It was too expensive. Trying to, rent the game was insane when they did the beta. So when you want to buy the game was, you had Final Fantasy X and it was like $30. That's insane.
Yeah,
right?
it was so messed up when it first came out. I'm glad you pointed that out. You can rent the game for a certain period of time, or you can buy the game. And the prices were they were like, lack of a better term, they were fucking crazy, man.
Exactly, and that's going to be the same talking point for what's going to be happening for the future. Like, this will definitely be an option, a great option for PlayStation owners, but it's also going to invite PlayStation gamers to get PSN. This is another factor that they're trying to do. I've been on Twitter explaining a point, and the fanboys go crazy because I said, because what they were saying was, about Xbox and the paywall. Xbox Live, we already know it. Red Dragon has been on this kick ever since the 360 about the paywall. Mm-hmm. What I tell to other gamers is basically, why would you listen to somebody that said that they got rid of their Xbox? They're irrelevant at this point. Anybody that gets rid of their PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, and want to tell other gamers not to get this whatever product, they're irrelevant. They shouldn't open their mouth about it, because if they didn't want it, then they didn't want it. That's fine. That's their point. But to me, is like, PlayStation is going through a check. They're going through their DRM just like Xbox did, except there's some different factors, of course, what Xbox was trying to do, because they were going to implement the game sharing to up to 10 people, compared to what PlayStation is doing now, that you can play free-to-play games without having to have a subscription. But again, PlayStation fans, those fanboys, not say PlayStation fans, but those fanboys, those fanatics, they were trying to entice people to think that you could play multiplayer for free. So when I pointed that out on Facebook, then everybody was like, "Oh, duh, this is." Oh, but that's not what we were saying from the beginning. You were giving out false information, and that PSN, you can play multiplayer games, and then this is included or whatever. So if PS Now is included for free without having PSN, why would they do a DRM 3-day check? That makes no sense. So again, they're doing the DRM situation. They don't care about it now, but they had a lot of energy about it in 2013. Know the fact that they also didn't, a lot of people didn't know anything about DRM, and it was really unfortunate that a lot of PC gamers that love Steam, which does DRM all the fucking time. Yeah, that they were coming out in the woodworks and trying to discredit Xbox for what they were doing. Now, how you liked what Xbox was coming to do or didn't, that's a whole different discussion. But again, this is really good for them, but it's very hypocritical for so many people that say that they don't like playing old games. And then
I think that's the big one right there.
That's the big, they don't like caring about playing old games. Who wants to play old games when I have Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War, etc., Spider-Man?
And the thing about the old games is, let's be honest here. They're talking about the previous generation. They're talking about, why would you want to play 360 games? It's not like they're we were going back that far when it comes to those games either.
So you're saying there's a history of certain people that prefer one platform talking trash about the other platform,
right?
And then as time goes on, it puts them in a position of compromise time and time again. It could be a resolution. It could be, old games. It could be all the stuff that we're talking about here. Here's the harsh reality. Stop. If you really dislike Xbox so much, stop talking about them.
Exactly.
That's the best thing you can do if you really don't like the platform, is just simply stop talking about them, because they're gonna show you what's up. I mean, that's just how it boils down to. So
pay the bills, buy it.
Yeah, definitely. Sir X-Man is in love with the super chat tonight. Thank you, brother. He said, not trying to change the subject. He was like, but have you seen the price of Rock Band 4? It's popular again. No, I haven't seen the price, but if it did go up in price, then yeah, there is a higher demand for it now. And I mean, why not? It's a great game.
It's a good time for them to bring those type of games. Like I said, bring lips. Bring lips.
No, they're not bringing lips.
Hey man, you'll see me streaming, singing, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Do it.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You'll see me singing. Ain't no stopping me now. Anyway,
I pictured he had his like shot glass up in the air singing like
with my pinky up. You know how I do it.
Well, I also saw him wearing makeup and shit like that, and I was all like, "Nah, dude."
No, you never see me wearing no makeup. No. But anyway, that's fine. Look, I just wanted to make the point that it's ridiculous that this is the thing for me, right? Like with the whole God of War situation, right? You know what I'm saying? I was reluctant about it, whatever, and then I was so fortunate for somebody to get it to gift it for me, and I played it. I enjoyed it. It should be a definite contender for Game of the Year. It's not a 10, but the game was great. I was wrong, and I admitted I was wrong about about a lot of the factors that I was concerned about. You don't hear any of these people that go on these stupid ass rants ever give Xbox any acknowledgement or apologize for them being so wrong.
They're never wrong, dude.
They're never wrong, even when they are so wrong. Like they give every excuse, and they'll even go back to try to pull up something from what you said 3-4 years ago and use it as collateral, like that means something. You're a dumbass. You have no credibility in the game. Trust me, you're a liar. And that's the thing. If you cannot come up and admit as an adult that you were wrong about something, then nobody should really pay attention to you. But that's just where we in. Like I said, it's the Caitlyn Jenner crowd, man. They just want to be trending.
Well,
they want to be popular.
It's really funny when like things change, and the people that were so adamant on one side, their preferred piece of plastic starts like catering to the one thing that they were talking against. Like when it was about resolution, or when it was about console power, when the shoe goes on the other foot, like they don't even see that they were wrong before time. They just like kind of completely omit it and everything like that. It is.
Yeah, they don't say anything anymore, and then they just go to the next goalpost.
It's quite entertaining to see that, but at the end of the day, like it's like, well, don't you realize that you're actually being a hindrance in the gaming community? Really going dead set against something that could quite possibly be the future of the industry. And then when your preferred like console does it, then all of a sudden it turns into the greatest thing. And it's like, well, you're telling that company that they can do whatever. They can be as bare bones as they want. They can be late to the party when it comes to innovation, and they're going to still have that consumer base there. It is kind of crazy. I do want to give a huge shout out to one of a really big supporter of this channel and especially this show, the Indie Gamer. It is your birthday today, man. I did not know that. Happy birthday! He has gone over 35 now, so nice. I just want to let you know, Indy, it's all downhill from here. All right, yeah, but we are all with you on that downhill, kind of like that downhill trip that you're going to be going on, man.
No, man, it's not like, I mean,
no, just
let's be genuine. Like, I mean, these guys feeling down. It's his birthday. He's like, listen here, you got plenty of good years ahead of you, but just be forewarned. You'll wake up someday and you're like, huh, that used to work the day before.
You're
gonna have one of those days, man.
Yeah, it's about to happen. Yeah, when they told me about that when I was young, I was like, man, shut up, man. I ain't gonna ever have that. You're just old.
But happy birthday, Indy, man. I am so proud that you're spending your birthday here with us, man. I cannot say you have been a great supporter. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a really great birthday.
I just want to make one last point before we move on. I just want to say it's great for PlayStation gamers, because there was one thing months ago about if PlayStation was going to do backwards compatibility and things like that, and like it would be insane to have their old library available for whatever new console that they're bringing. Well, now we kind of see that they're with the PlayStation 1 Mini, and now with what they're doing with this, they don't have to do backwards compatibility. The fact of it is, though, is that how are they going to do it with price, and what does this lead to the future for what PlayStation really is, what the PlayStation fan is really going to be attracted to? Because if they go balls to the wall and go after this, even though, like I said, this is a great deal for them or for us, then it's basically a situation where they're going to be doing the same thing as what Xbox doing, because PlayStation Now is on PC, so it's all multi-platform, so nothing is exclusive, I guess, anymore, right? I mean, it's crazy to me. So
it's a great deal for them as well, because like I said, unless you look into it, you don't realize how little you're getting on this generation of games when it comes to this subscription service. It is basically, when you're talking about downloading games and having them on your system, you're talking anywhere between 4 to 6 games right now on the PS4, and you're talking about the PlayStation 2 library that is in this service. Now, PlayStation 3, like I said, you can stream and deal with that. I've heard horror stories from people who have tried it out. I can't say personally, because I never did, but at the end of the day, it just looks like they're like, hey, you can do this now, and then unless you really look into it, you might be disappointed on what kind of like offerings you would get for the games that are this generation, where I feel like Xbox, when it comes to Game Pass, not just not backwards compatibility, but just Game Pass itself, is just so much better, because you're getting the exclusives day and date. You have a big library of games from this generation that is in that service, and I feel like
right, and the fact that it's basically it's better suited for gamers. It's a much better budget, even though that they tie in the whole paywall thing of how much you pay for live. Look, you can go anywhere and catch Xbox Live for cheap as hell for a year to 6 months, 3 months. PlayStation Now, try to find a deal on that, it is almost like finding a needle in a haystack, because it is expensive as hell. So it's a big difference, because there's more people that I know that has Xbox Live backed up for at least a year or 2 or 3, compared to PlayStation Now, where people are paying month to month or getting those 3-month cards instead of getting the whole year cards.
Well, I mean, that's the issue they're running into. I mean, I've talked to you about this before, where every time a platform has an issue of security, or you hear about a story where someone's credit card has been taken advantage of on that platform, that plays into the confidence of the people that are on there. So if you're afraid to have your card on there, the convenience of doing purchases has taken away. So if you think about it, subscription service, well, guess what? You just now made it infinitely harder for that user base to feel confident enough to spend money with you. And that's an issue, right? So, I mean, that is an uphill battle that, people don't want to talk about, but it is something Sony's up against, and they do need to continuously address that and be very aggressive on that, because it's one of those things that hurts the industry as a whole, right? Because believe it or not, when people have bad experiences on PlayStation, they even think twice about putting in their information on an Xbox, right? Because this is what happened last time I put my information on a box,
Dude,
right?
I didn't even have that bad experience when it came to PlayStation, but when it came down to buying digital games or renewing our PlayStation Plus, I know me and OSnaps looked at each other, we're like, we're not using a credit card for that, right? Like, no.
But here's the thing too. Like, I look at my PlayStation is the secondary console in my home. Like, I don't turn it on that much. But one thing that I always said, like, is these services make more sense for my secondary console. It's not where I buy my games, but I don't really have a whole lot of library on my PlayStation. So being able to download it finally is an option that makes sense for me as a consumer, right? You know, as a secondary console, and that actually has more value on the Sony side than it does on the Xbox side, because on the Xbox side I just buy the stuff I want. So it just gives me things to be able to play. So it taps into a different type of customer. I think also when you're dealing with downloading, and I've said this before, it's cheaper. It's cheaper to run the servers to do that, because you're basically streaming a lot less information, really more or less 1 or 2 times, depending if someone deletes it off their console and re-downloading.
To me, this is a decent first step. I got to see it evolve more, just because of what I get from Game Pass as well. You
want all the first-party exclusives to be on there.
Like that is a big thing. Like, if you're gonna go all in.
That would seal the deal for me. Like, because right now I'm looking at them like, well, they're all games that kind of have on another platform.
They're never gonna do that.
Never say never, even though I kind of agree with you.
Here's the thing: is everyone in the development community, and this is that I know of, right? Like, these are developers and publishers. They're looking at every time. Everyone's watching the new Forza right now really closely. If the new Forza numbers, physical copies and digital copies sold, is substantially higher than the last Forza, and Game Pass numbers are up, that's a wake up call to the industry, right? Because we've seen it with previous games with day and date in regards to that. So people have been waiting for this. I mean, people were waiting for Crackdown, regardless if people are into the game or not. Like, people are waiting to see what the results are going to be. So this is just another barometer test for people to kind of look at it. And by the time we get to Crackdown, if we see a trend, right, with each one of these games that sales do really well with offering on these services as well, which also helps with the services, which helps generate them more money so they can not only get more things on the platform, but also offer sweeter deals to those people that are early adopters, things like that. That's going to continue to help grow this particular segment of the market.
Oh yeah.
In regards to that, so Sony's looking at it. I mean, there's people are in denial of it,
but this is how Sony's going to run it, Don. This is what Sony's going to do. You want our games day and date? You can have them. But you're going to have to get an exclusive package, which is probably $15.99 a month. And then you might have to wait 2 months after release to get those.
I don't know about the 2 months thing, but I can hear him on that. I can hear him about Elite Package or something.
Here's the thing is, Microsoft is not losing money on this. They're gaining more money. So they're going to follow the business model that's going to gain them more money. So if putting it behind a wall loses them potential sales or potential money or the goodwill of their customer, then they're going to steer away from that in general.
But Sony hasn't learned that lesson yet, because Sony is under the impression that they can do whatever they want to their customer base, and their customer base has shown that they are more than willing.
I'm not with you on that. Like that.
But you may not be with me on it, but it is what's happening.
You're speaking for yourself on that one. I can't.
I'm not speaking for myself, because I don't do that. I don't embrace that philosophy, Don. This is what the masses do.
I don't. That's not how it works.
I would say, Knox, I hear what you're saying, and I think there is a particular part of the gaming community that we have a tendency to hear a lot, but might not be the general populace. You see what I'm saying?
They're not. They're the fringe.
Yeah.
That's why I call them.
It's not even about that. I mean, when you deal with like companies, they make decisions to protect their personal interest. I get that. But if a business model makes sense and someone shows a business model that makes sense, then there's somebody who's going to copy that because their job's on the line in regards to that. So if Microsoft continues to present these situations, it's going to continue to feed into it. Let's say Sony doesn't hop on board. Let's say EA hops on board. Let's say Ubisoft hops on board. I like what you're doing. Then Sony becomes the fringe. They become the outsider looking in the industry. And so then it becomes pressure between other consumers, because like you got the consumers that buy your product, but the reality is the publishers and the game studios, they're consumers as well. And so if they're not treated in that sense, it puts even more pressure on Sony. Yeah, they may be stubborn, they may stick their feet in there, but if you can sell somebody, hey, you will make more money, and show from a numbers perspective internally at a big company, that's how you get the years.
Hold on 1 second, guys. 1 second. There we go. We're back.
Oh man. Oh, bot cut me off again.
I didn't want to cut you off.
See, he wants lips too.
But guys are acting as
no one wants lips.
Guys are acting as though this hasn't happened already. Like if this hasn't happened in the past, if you're really gonna sit there and tell me that Sony isn't brazen in their actions and in what they do, then damn, I don't.
Definitely. I will say they are brazen. They.
Absolutely. When they're gonna tell you we're selling you a PS1 classic, rip the name right off Nintendo. Yeah. We're giving you 20 games, but we're gonna tell you 3 of them.
You're gonna love
it. You can guess the other 17, and you're gonna love it.
Yeah.
But why would you be so mad about something you haven't bought?
I'm not mad about it.
Hold on, Knox.
You're trying to flip it. I'm not mad about
Lady
anything.
Foxfire, we got to stop for a second. Lady Foxfire is singing the praises of Destiny 2 right now in the chat. We have another person who came back to Destiny after Forsaken came out, man.
Sweet. So it's got 3. Do you want me to look at the
come on, Lady Foxfire. Come on. We're gonna get you up there, bro. We're gonna do this right.
Yeah. But
let's go, girl. With another game she likes.
We have not heard from Dark on this subject. I really want to hear what Dark has to say. He's gone quiet, man. Dark, what's going on? Are you still with us, bro?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just listening to you guys bicker back and forth about this bullshit.
I went to him at the right time, dude. What do you think about this service, man? Does this look like? I mean, do you agree with me that you have to actually kind of check the car underneath the hood to see exactly what you're getting here? And what you're getting here, in my opinion, if you want to download games, if these are the things you really want to do, you're basically getting a PlayStation 2 backwards compatible that you're paying a subscription service for. But what do you think? Is that what you see here when you kind of look under the hood?
That's absolutely what I see. Something that is you're paying for backwards compatibility. I mean, is this what you really wanted? For something like this? But I mean, there are people who. That's the thing. There are people who will eat this up and take it for what it is and enjoy it, and that's fine. That's great, and that's cool. But for me and personally, I don't want PlayStation Now. I never wanted PlayStation Now. I don't even think Game Pass is the greatest thing either, because I think a lot of the times for me, like, I want to own my games. I want to be able to have them later on down the line. I mean, it's great for people who can't afford all the same things that I can. Yeah, it's a good option for other people. There are a lot of people who can't afford games like I do. I mean, you guys know how I am. I buy pretty much everything. So, and I get the whole Game Pass thing. Like that makes sense. But PlayStation Now, like, if you're gonna be paying for backwards compatibility, you might as well just buy a PlayStation 3 that you can get for like $20 at the frickin' garage sale or thrift store or
Blades
flea
in the
market
chat
or something like that.
Blades in the chat says you don't want PlayStation Now, you want PlayStation later.
That's pretty good. But I think at the end of the day, I think a lot of people will, they'll buy this. There's going to be those who sit there and say, "Oh yeah, PlayStation Now is going to kill Game Pass," and it's
They're
like,
already
man,
saying that
guys,
now, man.
I know there's people that are saying that now. I've seen some of the videos. I've seen some of the people talking about it, and it's just like, I don't think it's going to kill Game Pass, honestly. You're gonna need more than 4 PS4 games going into this. Then
you're gonna need more in the PS4 library to come out.
And that's the thing. I don't think PlayStation's really wanting to put a lot of their games on this system or on this app because of the fact that they know that they can make money off of them. They're not gonna get. They're not gonna get games like Spider-Man, day one, like we are with Game Pass. Like, it's not gonna happen. I can't see that happening. I mean, maybe in the future, when the PS5 comes out or something like that, but I can't see this happening for PS4 at all. I mean, it is what it is, man. It's like people are gonna sit here and criticize, Microsoft for what they're doing and stuff like that, and then sit here and say, praise Sony for what they come out with, which should have been there in the first place. Like they should have been able to download these games from day one when PlayStation Now
said
was
that with conviction too. On day one. They should have done.
Well, it should have been. I mean, do you disagree with me? I mean, do you think that they shouldn't have had that?
To be really honest with you, when it comes to what they're doing, internet side, I can honestly say I feel like Xbox is head and shoulders above their competitors with technology, and I feel like Sony might not have had the how-to. When they first came out with PlayStation Now, they had Gaikai. They wanted to kind of utilize that because they spent a ton of money on getting those servers and stuff like that. So
it's not a technology thing with this. This is a licensing situation.
Okay, well,
so just to clarify,
makes perfect sense.
That's clarified. That's why it opens the door when Microsoft's able to do it, because if you're a publisher, you have a bunch of questions for the platform provider. It's like, well, how long is it going to be? Hey, what happens when our agreement's up? All these sort of things, all these sort of things. So they don't want a bunch of games floating out there that they're not getting any sort of revenue from, that sort of thing. So it's more of the logistics more than it is the technology that drives it. So,
all right, I got you. So, in that case, you know what, Dark, you are right. Should have been there day one, man. Well, guys, we have just hit. It's a little after 9 right now.
Don't forget to hit that like button, everybody.
Yeah, do it now. Knox said so. But
you should just have Knox on just to do that every single Saturday.
Dude, he has done another great job. Knox, I think you're a natural on gaming podcasts, dude. I really do, man. I had a lot of fun with the panel that we had here. You could say +1 right now with having Knox here, but at one point in time we did have snaps here on a weekly basis. We were dealing with the same number of people on the panel, and I feel like we had a really good show. I did have a couple other topics. It was basically Capcom Vancouver has closed down, and basically Telltale. I know they dropped about 90% of their developers, but the developers that are there, they're only working on the very last season of Walking Dead, and I feel like then they're going to close their doors as well. So instead of putting it as a topic, I just want to give a shout out to those developers, people who made the Dead Rising franchise. Great job, guys. I had a lot of fun, especially with Dead Rising 3. I feel like that was the best of the bunch there. I had a lot of fun playing those games. We are going to miss you guys. I hope the developers out there, you guys land jobs quickly. I saw on Twitter there was this whole thing. People were getting, their freelance on. They were getting their contracts going and stuff like that. And with Telltale as well. Telltale, they really blew up with The Walking Dead. and they got a lot of licenses to make games like that, you know. And unfortunately, we're not going to see the Stranger Things Telltale game that was being worked on and stuff like that. But huge shout out to the developers out there. I hope you guys, you know, get into other dev teams. You're able to keep doing your art and your business, and you're able to, you know, keep moving forward as developers. But with that being said, it is about time for the end of the show, and everybody knows at the end of the show, it's like a 40-year-old with a comb over, man. We got to get those plugs in. Let's start with the man who came back from LA after cruising the streets, Eddie Murphy style, Mr. Dark Optimus out there. Yo, Dark, why don't you let people know what you're up to for the week and where they can get a hold of you to talk games, man?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter, Dark Optimus. You can also find me on Xbox Live.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. He was like on Xbox Live. Click. He is he gone?
I don't know.
No, he's still there. You just can't hear him. Dark, we cannot hear you, man.
He needs to yell louder at the wall is what he needs to do.
Yelling at the mic. Your beard is weird.
Weird beard.
Well, as he gets his audio straightened out, let's go to the next man. Of course, that would be Predator. Predator, with that, he's that man that just doesn't get any of that gameplay respect. I do have to ask, yo, before we get into your outros or whatever, K Mega, do you want your gameplay to be in the poll? Because I will type it up now as we're doing the.
No.
All right, so all right, it's gonna be me, Predator, and Optimus. And Optimus had that fire gameplay from like a couple.
No, he
weeks
didn't.
Ago.
Don't.
Oh snap!
So, yo, Pred, why don't you let people know what you're up to for the week and where people can get a hold of you to talk games and whatnot, man?
Predator_H2OS on Xbox, PlayStation, Twitter, fucking everywhere. Just did a podcast Friday with Boom. Really good podcast. Him and his panels, great. And of course, you know, I'll be here next Saturday. Make sure you guys vote for Pred because you guys know I had that fire. 5 games this time. 5 fucking games for y'all this week.
5 fucking games for all y'all. All right, why not, man? No, Pred, you bring it each and every week, man. I will say that. You hear me, like when we go off air. You know what I'm saying, dude? I appreciate, you know, all the time and attention that everybody on the panel, you know, what you guys do to bring that like fresh twist to a gaming podcast, having the gameplay, you know, being able to vote for it. It's a lot of fun, man, and I thank you all you guys for your dedication. Let's cut the mushy stuff out now and let's get to the Don. Don, why don't you let people know, do you have anything planned for this week? And you got to let them know where they can get a hold of you to talk games as well, man.
Anything planned for this week? Oh, I mean, I can tell you the Destiny active user base. It hasn't gone down, but it hasn't gone up, so that's good news.
So that's good, right?
That's good news. Outside of that,
he falls asleep with that on his phone every night because of me, man.
They haven't gotten bored
I can
yet.
screenshot it for you daily if you want. But anyways, that being said,
he fucking would,
the views and opinions of Nox are not the views and opinions of me. I just want to make sure that it's very clear.
That's when you know it was a great show. When you have to point that out, like, yo, his opinions weren't mine. I just want to let you know
those are his views on things, not mine. But he's entitled to them. I don't want to stifle anyone being able to express themselves in regards to this stuff.
Nox, you got you got the Don's okay to have an opinion, man. How do you feel?
I don't think I need his okay to have my opinion. I'm always gonna have it. Yeah. But I'm glad to see you're on board, though, Don. You know,
I take the opinion part back. Anyways, the best way to follow me is the Don_KTR, and yeah.
Nice, brother. Nice, and of course my brother from another mother and father. I don't know how it works, but yeah, K Mega. Why don't you let people know? You gotta unravel that scroll, man. Let everybody know what you're up to throughout the week and where they can get a hold of you so they can tell you how your opinion is trash, man.
Right, absolutely. And you know what? My scroll is been chopped down a little bit.
A little bit, man. It's a half scroll now.
Yeah, it's a half scroll. We just waiting to do GRG Uncut. You know, what I'm saying, waiting on my people from G4G Media. You know, what I'm saying, Moxie and Avers to do what they got to do. And
dude, where have they have like disappeared from Twitter? I haven't seen anything.
Moxie and Avers is doing his thing with moving and things like that, and just more personal stuff. So with them, so I can't wait for them to come back, start doing their videos and stuff, and then have them back on GRG Uncut. Yeah, we'll do that. But of course, I don't want to try to do that show every week. I want to kind of do that like maybe twice a month. You know what I'm saying? Just
Oh, so bi-weekly.
So many other podcasts. Yeah, bi-weekly. There's so many other podcasts out there, and then I don't want to just.
I think that's a fresh twist, man. It's not like once a month where people are waiting so long. So, but every 2 weeks, that's a pretty good schedule right there, man.
Right. And of course, the GRG podcast, that is every week. You know what I'm saying? Bring y'all's happy asses over there and come check us out. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of fun. It's basically pretty much how we look at it is like the nightcap. You know what I'm saying? Send y'all off to get your drink on podcast. You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, we talk about real serious stuff, but we also, have a lot of fun doing it.
That's what it's about, man. Entertainment as well.
Yeah, just having a lot of fun, man, and just you can tell that we're all friends, we're family over there. So, and it's just like here, so it's just all good. But anyway, BGST Sunday or Monday, whenever we do it, and then of course, last but not least, the Dev and the Gamer. We were going to do 2 weeks in a row, man. Damn, but Don had to do something that was more important. Get on the Vibration podcast, so that was really cool. And I wasn't good, and he was already on Craps. Show what Xbox Nation.
You keep saying them all on Craft Show, but I
think I'm actually going to be on the Vibration podcast. I'm talking to him when Venom drops because they do video games, comic books, movies, and stuff like that. I was
Triple Cup Chuck, yes,
dude,
yes,
Triple Cup. I was like, I am down
he
with Venom drops, man.
Yes, he is a gaming nerd. Him and Flip Money and them, they are
dude,
on.
I will fit right in then. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, what is it not? Is Xbox Nation not crap? I thought that was always Crap's show.
No, it is, but I wasn't on his show.
You wasn't on there?
No, I wasn't on there. I mean, sometimes I'm on there, but I'm not on there every week.
Oh, well then, damn, yeah, you could have doubled up. I thought you did 2 podcasts.
No, I just try not to bump into those guys. Let them do their thing, and we can do our thing kind of separate. That's all.
Oh, okay, no big deal. Anyway, so but the Devin
how
game
do
will
I
come back.
have no votes right now, but Dark Optimus has 33% of the votes.
Oh, did you check the DM?
Illuminati confirmed.
Check the DM. There's an updated on the votes.
Yo, 50-50 right now with still I have nothing. Nothing.
Damn.
People don't like Spider-Man, I guess.
And appreciate I appreciate Lady Foxfire, showing that love. She still wanted to vote for K Mega, even though it was old gameplay. But you know what? That's dedication. I love that. You know what I'm saying? See, you can have crap. I have the ladies on my team. And that's exactly
that's all you need right there, man. That's all you need. That outdoes crap right there.
But thank you. Appreciate it as always. And check me out. I'm gonna double dip tonight. I'm gonna do PK Blam's podcast, and I'll be over there. So come and check that out.
You know why she only votes for you, right?
Why?
Because you hit on her mom that one time on the podcast.
I did. I like them older.
So that may swing that vote, just so you know.
That's right. That's right.
With a memory right now.
That's right. Like, ooh.
Yeah, you hit on Mama Fox. I remember that.
That's Mama Fox. Anyway, y'all stupid. Anyway, thank y'all, man. Always.
All right, and let's get to the man of the hour right now, man. Thank you, Knox, for coming back for a second week in a row. Again, like I said, I feel like you're a gaming podcast natural. I had a lot of fun. Man, it flowed beautifully. Why don't you let people know about your YouTube channel and where they can get a hold of you? I believe you're also on Facebook. I gave up on Facebook, but you're on Facebook and Twitter, I believe. Yo, let everybody know, man.
Yo, I got my Facebook and my MySpace, and I'm just kidding. But yo, thank you for having me.
Yo, check out Knox on Tinder too, by the way.
Yes, you can check me out on Tinder and Google Plus and all of that. But seriously, man, yo, thank you for having me, guys, man. Xbot, I appreciate it, bro. The panel was great. I love being here, man, and I will come here and represent anytime, man. It's just awesome to be on a panel with you guys. It's great. You guys can find me if you want to at Dean Knox on Twitter and at In Knox We Trust on YouTube. I haven't done anything new as of late, but
dude, you lied to us last week, man. You said there was content
I did,
coming.
man. But my son got sick, and family shit happens, man.
Family first, man, definitely.
Yeah, it goes down. But I am gonna do a new episode. I promise everybody. God damn it, I promise we're gonna do it just like Sony promises that they're gonna do some.
Dude,
good shit
maybe
with
we can
PS
find
now,
something, and do a collaboration together or something on your channel, man.
Absolutely, man.
That'd be
Absolutely. Cool. You already know.
That'd be cool. I am the chief hooker of the gaming community. If there's a show out there, I want to be on it. I want to spread myself around as much as possible, man.
Okay, let's end this before you take back, man. Let's go.
Oh my God.
Guys, on that note, I do have a couple. Well, at least one announcement. I will be on Breakfast with Boom this coming week as well. Shout out!
I forgot to mention that. So am I. So let's go.
Oh, we're gonna duo that thing, huh?
We are gonna duo that thing.
So then let me do my car backfire thing. Blah blah blah.
Oh, wow!
Love it.
You remember that?
I was gonna say, and not only that, but stay tuned next week for this show, because as of now, I do know family things happen and stuff like that. But as of now, next Saturday will be a special episode of Next Podcast for people who have been following this show for a while. Every once in a while we do a special takeover episode, and next Saturday we have scheduled the showstopper takeover of Next Podcast. Guys, I am excited. I already wish it was next week already, because this is going to be a really, really fun show.
Should be really fun.
But as usual, guys, it is Saturday. Gamers got a game. We got to get those controllers in our hands. So as I say every Saturday, we will check you guys out next Saturday on the Next Podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Peace.
X-Spot.
Oh.